there. So let's see what this is. Short Fat Otaku is the name of this channel. And he says, I'm tired of cancel culture. I'm sure you are.
I was actually gone for a couple days, I don't know if you noticed. I was getting fiber optic internet installed. So hopefully this video is coming to you at the speed of light. If not, then maybe I've been had. Anyway, today we're talking about cancel culture, and more specifically, how I don't really care about it. And I hope you don't mind indulging me in an old man ramble for at least a couple of minutes.
Oh, Christ, it's a 30-minute video. Old man ramble away, I guess.
Talked about my pre-political past on YouTube a few times now. I think I've done at least 2 videos on it. If you're new, this channel only really started getting into politics basically around Gamergate, and before that it was game playthroughs, which are now over on my Game Boomers channel, and before that they were—
Wait a minute, politics? I thought Gamergate was about ethics in gaming journalism.
anime reviews. You know, that guy with the glasses styled anime reviews, all the way back in 2009. It was me and 2 friends. We were a lot younger and we were just having fun. That's why the channel's name is Short Fat Otaku, because we were all otakus. But that also means that I have a lot of old friends from other parts of the internet that aren't political. In fact, parts that should be apolitical, like anime, like video games, let's plays, that kind of stuff.
Why are you assuming that various art forms should be apolitical? First of all, there's no such thing as apolitical art. Any video game, even something like a Call of Duty, is inherently political, especially games like Call of Duty, because they sort of normalize warfare, especially the kind in like the Modern Warfare series when it was still a thing, where you're like using American foreign policy and our use of military force on foreign soil to try and enforce our political wants. You're normalizing it for people. That's political. If you choose to include gay people, these kind of types will say that's political, even though including only straight people is also a political statement. Everything we do, everything we express through art is political. Period.
Places where, frankly, politics really shouldn't be injected, one way or the other. Now, while I was offline getting that internet installed, I actually got removed from a Discord of people that I used to be friends with a long time ago. And no, I am not asking you to cancel them. That's why I've censored all of their names. I just want to discuss the topic, if you don't mind. I want you to read a little bit with me, just so we can discuss the nature of places that really should be apolitical, like non-politics side of YouTube, and how they've become politicized, and how the people in those spaces believe that that is morally justifiable, okay? It's been brought to our attention by several members of our community.
It doesn't have to be justified. Everything is political.
That due to your past actions and current content, people are uncomfortable with you continuing to be in the Discord. We are aware that you think those people of different political views can coexist, but unfortunately, when your views and actions cause harm and fear in others, that's not the case. As to what views and actions we're talking about, I'll show you in a bit.
Oh no!
I understand that we have history. When we were just 2 gaming channels, despite being different, I appreciated our friendship. However, as much as I respect the ideal of looking past differing views, there's a line that I can't cross. The history of your words and ideals go against my own, my friends, and radiate a hatred that I can't tolerate in my community. Apparently I radiate hatred, okay?
I imagine you do. People don't write messages like this if someone is being benign. Hey, what's up? Hello.
Okay. I hope you understand. We're just too different, and even if you don't think we are, I hope you respect and understand that I do. And I mean, fair enough. Ultimately, this is their Discord, not mine. It is not my place to complain. They have their rules, and even though I think that they're completely ridiculous, it's their place.
Hello, chat.
How you doing?
Good.
Would you get me some Coca-Cola?
No.
Would you get me some pop?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not mine. I would not do this in my Discord. I personally do not tolerate any kind of xenophobia in the slightest. We are all about creating a safe and caring environment for everyone, for people to be themselves and feel like they belong. It's actually sad whenever a friendship ends due to what basically amounts to Trump derangement syndrome. But let me show you my offense, okay? We've been provided with screenshots
Let's take a look.
of both old and recent SFO comments, content, and remarks, and so we've banned him. If you have interacted with his content because of this Discord, or been offended by his actions, we're deeply sorry. I'm sorry you had to watch a YouTube video of me, dude. Provided below is one of the screenshots we received that pushed us to act. Please know that in this community, we aim to make all people of all races, genders, and backgrounds feel welcome and safe. And you know what? Frankly, so do I. But I would also add of political persuasions into that as well. Xenophobia, transphobia, I don't know if you'd accuse me of transphobia, knowing my porn history.
Oh, dude, being a chaser doesn't make you not transphobic, you sick fuck. Jesus Christ. A chaser, for those of you who don't know, is someone who fetishizes trans people instead of treating them, you know, like human beings.
And any other form of intolerance will not be tolerated. Please reach out to a mod if you're feeling unsafe. We're here to keep this community one of acceptance and friendship. So here's the actual thing that got me the boot, and I think you can recognize what it is just by looking at it, eh? That's right, it's this tweet, dudes. The one where I found a bunch of people who were proudly undocumented or proudly illegal immigrants.
What kind of fucking asshole legitimately finds people who are undocumented immigrants and reports them to ICE? What kind of shitbag do you have to be in order to do that to human beings? That's awful. Jesus.
As stated in their own fucking bios on Twitter, and then tag them into a thread with ICE. And I even say in the thread, it's not about xenophobia. If you want to live in a nation, immigrate properly. I say it right here, and I still feel that way. If you want to live in a nation, immigrate properly. This is not a race issue. I'm not racist. This is certainly not...
Okay, is that why you also included, like... Oh, boy. For one thing, you used, specifically the brown hands emoji. And then you included a pregnant woman. Oh my goodness. And by the way, you're specifically pointing out, like, Mexican immigrants, as if there aren't, like, white illegal immigrants from Canada. That's also a thing that happens, you know?
A xenophobic issue. I am not afraid of or hateful towards people who come from different places or have different backgrounds. They are all welcome to immigrate properly to the West. They are all welcome to follow the rules, contribute to the society that they arrive in, and be a net...
She is trying to condition me to say pop instead of soda. It's alright. I won't be Pavloved.
...positive to those around them. This isn't white nationalism or something nonsense like that. It's, in fact, the alt-right calls me a Civnat wet noodle or something. Of course, you can also make the argument that, hey, despite that, maybe you shouldn't be tagging people in with ICE. You know, it's like sicking the cops.
Michigan love. It's pop in our dialect.
Okay, I don't speak... You want me to speak like a Michigander, eh? We gonna...
That's Canadian.
You're Canadian.
I'm not Canadian.
On them. It's like the guy who narcs out. One, ICE doesn't...
Oh, gonna go get some soda. Gonna go get some pop. Gonna go get some Fago. Gonna go and go hunting with my friends up in the Yoop. Me and some Yoopers are gonna go hunting this weekend. Fine, I'll just talk like that all the time.
You're very bad at that.
You're bad.
Okay. At what?
Tathier, thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime.
actually watch their Twitter account, and
I'm sorry I have a transatlantic accent sometimes.
I don't know what that means.
It means I don't have like a... I speak like someone on television. Obviously I slip into regional dialect sometimes, but more or less I speak like a normal person. What you looking for?
I'm not looking for anything. I'm gonna...
Oh.
and I knew this when I made this, it was a fucking troll. And two, if you don't want to be deported...
Haha, reporting people to ICE I was just trolling, guys. You know, troll isn't like a shield from like shitty behavior. I hate when people do this. I was just trolling. You reported people to the fucking immigration services, you douche. That's not trolling. That's fucking violence.
Don't put proud illegal immigrant in the bio of your Twitter, you morons. But of course that context doesn't really matter when it comes to smaller groups like this. Like, get this. When he said he was centrist, that was a big red flag. To somebody who is on the radical left, the centrist might as well be the Nazi. They might as well be.
You're not a centrist. I haven't even seen any other videos, but the fact that you were reporting people to ICE as a joke, you are not a centrist.
The radical right. Because the centrist position is actually strong borders and legal immigration. That's the centrist position.
No, not particularly. Something like the DACA would be a centrist position.
The radical right position is strong borders, no immigration, and deportation of those they don't want there, even if they were there legally, like sending black people back to Africa or something. Meanwhile, the radical left position is no
That's a Nazi position.
borders, no immigration system at all, pure unfettered movement of people. But to these people, the centrist position is too radical for them, which shows you how far left they've gone. And I can already hear their objections, and I understand them. The radical lefty will say that the centrist person is just like the right because, in practice, they just won't accept people of color or something. Fair enough, that might actually happen. However, the radical right person says that the centrist position might as well be the radical left position because people will simply refuse to enforce border laws and don't care when illegals come through, which is kind of what happened under Bill Clinton. So their positions are equal but opposite. They believe the centrist to not be extreme enough for them, so therefore they must be extreme in the other way. Fundamentally, they have no idea what nuance is.
You're not a centrist. And just being in the... Even if you were a centrist, by the way, sitting in the yard not caring about politics and saying, I just want a grill or whatever. It's not some enlightened position. Actually look into the issues and have opinions. Jesus.
I always view it as a mark of pride when somebody who thinks this way, in fact, also thinks my content is hateful and cruel. That's simply part of speaking the uncomfortable truths. However, it was never going to be about how I could argue my case, or how I could show them how I'm not actually some kind of hateful bigot for holding these opinions, and in fact, these opinions not only have their basis in reality, but in some cases seem to be objectively true regarding certain things about governance. But it was never going to be about...
There's no objectively true answer to any governmental policy. That's a complete ridiculous statement. You don't get to say that. Even the things that I advocate for that I think are right and good for people, saying that they're, like, objectively true makes no sense. I can say that I think they're moral and I think it's the right thing to do to provide healthcare to citizens and stuff like that, but to say it's objectively true means nothing. It's a way to try and couch your opinion in some sort of, like, objective truth when it's not the case. Devious Chilster with 25 bits. Uncomfortable truths is such a cringy dog whistly statement. Yeah. Sounds like race realism shit to me.
Making a convincing argument, it was always going to be ideological. Nothing blatantly offensive was said in this Discord. The ban was entirely decided on because of his actions outside of the Discord. So,
and that's their right to do so. Oh yeah, that's fine. I do a lot of things when this happens when I have money. I'll try and get into, like, she's going through my closet right now that's in the office. I bought this calligraphy set to try and learn calligraphy for D&D so I could, like, do my own spell book, and I thought it would be fun. But I never even opened it. I do this. I'm like, I'm gonna get a hobby. I'm gonna do this thing. And then I never do it.
That's ADHD.
So it's just like Facebook, banning you for stuff that you do off-platform, or Patreon, or whoever else. It's the nonsense we've been fighting everywhere, just on a much smaller scale, because this Discord had like 50 people in it or something. Now I've actually got, I think, 5 people in there who are still like sending me messages and being like, LOL, have you seen what they've done now? And they did delete all of my messages, so I can't actually show you the rather tame political conversations that I had in their channel meant for heavier topics. But I can show you the reaction of their admins.
Oh.
I'm not...
That was my lockbox for medical marijuana when it was only medical here in Michigan before it became recreationally legal. And I had a vaporizer. I'm talking to both you guys and Baja, I guess. And I had a vaporizer that would take these little cartridges, and you could pack a little bit of marijuana in them and put them in there, and it would vaporize. The vaporizer's still in there somewhere, but I haven't used it in a very long time. Because now the pens are such a big thing, and they don't use actual weed and they don't stink as much, at least not for as long. Whereas that used actual flower, which, you know, leaves a longer lasting scent, let's say.
Not having a fun discussion. This has been entirely unpleasant. This is in retaliation, by the way, to
Did
me
the cat's new hat arrive today? It's probably at the P.O. box.
saying that
Yeah. We'll go check it in the next couple days.
at the very least, Trump isn't a fascist because fascists economically like to centralize and control everything happening in their state. All of the private economic activity is...
Not necessarily. The Nazis, for instance, became very buddy-buddy with certain industries, but they didn't, like, ban private industry. Quite the opposite. You saw stuff like Volkswagen become huge. Hugo Boss become huge, even after Nazi Germany. Oh, does that work now? Yeah, I thought it broke. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of another one.
is at least in some way regulated by them, while Trump has been going on a massive deregulatory spree. That is the actions of like an ANCAP almost, not a fascist. This person also believes that the Discord is a...
This one you're thinking of.
Oh, that one I think broke. It doesn't work anymore. This one's really nice, though. This was cool. I wish it still worked, because this one's actually metal. This one's like a toy. I mean, they're both toys, but this one's like a kid's toy. This one's like a collectible one. But I think it stopped working. Yeah. Maybe I just need new batteries.
Yeah, probably.
safe space for those who Trump has oppressed. I don't think he's actually personally grabbed you by the pussy. My refusal to agree to this statement is actually what got the ball rolling on this. Can we all agree that Trump is an absolute monster and by far the worst president possible? He has been openly sexist, he's racist, a pedophile, a rapist, his politics are terrible, he's an absolute idiot. But in terms of all of it, he is a monster and the worst. We can debate his garbage politics all day, but in the end, hate crimes, assault, and white supremacy have grown louder and stronger. Human garbage has one of the biggest platforms on Earth. You all know that I am neutral to Trump. He has done some things that I like, particularly economically.
Ew. Again, that's not a centrist opinion.
He has done other things that I don't
That's an ignorant opinion at best.
like. For example, there was some LGBT stuff that Trump recently did that I actually openly oppose. I also oppose his stance on flag burning. You should be able to burn whatever flag you like. But my neutrality on him was apparently the big issue.
Being neutral on Trump is not a centrist opinion.
Here's probably the funniest exchange of all. Again, you can't see my replies here because I've deleted all my messages. Unfortunately, you'll just have to take me at my word here. The admin, who at this point has always been the person in red, she says that I'm obviously a white person. And I say, well, no, I'm Métis. Which is like a half joke. I guess technically I am, but it doesn't really matter, right? For those of you who don't know, Métis is it's a Canadian term for people who have a mixture of white and Native American heritage. And the reason that we use that term is because they were basically rejected from both the white and Native communities back in the day, so they like formed their own community, and they are distinctly their own thing culturally. However, I am not Métis in any real sense. I don't look Métis. I don't
Okay, so you're white.
practice any of the culture. I just happen to have a Native ancestor back there somewhere. So it doesn't really matter. And in response to this, she's...
All verified Twitter accounts have been locked down and can't tweet. Have you seen what's been going on Twitter?
Vaguely.
Someone got access. Thank you, Woohoo Lulu, for continuing your subscription. Someone got access to a Twitter admin account. It has been tweeting a scam from tons of huge accounts like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Kanye West, Elon Musk. So now all verified Twitter accounts are locked down.
They didn't get Trump.
No. Not to my knowledge, at least.
says, if you look white, you reap the benefits. That's just a fact. My reply, which is where the white line would be like, oh, that's actually like bisexual people. And that is, in fact, the truth. If you are not white, but you're white passing, you get white privilege. In the same vein, if you're bisexual and you're straight passing, then you have access to straight privilege. Like if you have an opposite gender partner and you're walking around outside and you're holding hands with them and you very clearly appear to be a heterosexual couple, even though you're bi, you have access to straight privilege. And that offended these people. What the fuck? Excuse me? I'd explain that ASAP. I didn't really get a chance to honestly explain it all that well because the conversation moved on. But I actually recall this from a feminist point of view. I think, what was her name? Dr. Jenny Roth? I gotta look it up. Yeah, Dr. Jenny Roth. I don't know why her photo is upside down on Lakehead University's website, but I took a few of her gender studies classes when I was in university back there. And she is a bisexual woman, and she once said in her lectures that bisexual people have access to straight privilege, and that ultimately it is a double-edged sword, because in some ways your queerness is erased, and that could be, in fact, damaging to your identity, at least from the feminist point of view. But at the same time, you also get access to straight privilege. People who would look down upon flamboyantly gay people, for example, or people in openly homosexual relationships, they will give you a pass. They won't think anything of you, even though you're actually bisexual. And she said she experienced, as a bisexual woman, both of those events, both gaining access to the privilege and also losing access to the identity. But these people don't care about that nuance. Even though the exact same logic is used to say that you have white privilege, even if you're not actually white. When you apply that same logic to bisexuality...
I think they're just wondering why the fuck you responded in that way. You're not addressing their argument at all, you're concern trolling.
It's apparently completely offensive, even though it is not only the same logic, but confirmed by the real-life feminists that I know. So far, I've kind of been indulging myself here, and I think that's why I made this a devtrospective video instead of a main SFO video, because I'm talking more off the cuff, and I'm talking about stuff that's closer to me. This is a personal encounter, and by the way, that is the reason why I censored everyone's names. I do not want you to go after these people. I certainly do not want cancel culture to descend upon them. Although, as an aside, would it surprise you to know that the person speaking in red, that, this is who they are? Yeah, I had a feeling like 5 years ago, the minute that relationship started, the friendship was over, unfortunately. It just took us this long to get there.
Are you seriously doing she has a non-natural hair color, must be an SJW card, because yikerinos.
Okay, that was a low blow, I know, but that one was just for me personally. And besides, we all know somebody like this, don't we? With the dyed hair and the glasses attempting to appear unique.
She's just trying to see, dude. Why you fucking stereotyping people with glasses? What?
Who talks about how progressive and moral they are. Who talks about having the right politics, but ultimately is just a cover for them being fundamentally a nasty person. And, believe it or not, this is not a video about me ranting about old friends. It's not. Because I realized something while this was happening to me, that if these people had any actual power, they would have wielded it against me. Because in this tiny space, where it's a Discord of only a few dozen people, they still couldn't resist doing what every single person does whenever they engage in some kind of cancel culture nonsense.
It seems like you're just mad that a bunch of people that you thought you were friends with see you in a negative light because of your shitty opinions, and now you're mad about it and blaming cancel culture instead of blaming it on the fact that you are an asshole.
And I'm guilty of this too. I jumped on the pro-Jared bandwagon last year, and I was wrong. I should not have done that, and that's the main reason I'm refusing to jump on the Angry Joe bandwagon and the Twitch blackout people and all this stuff, all these accusations coming out right now. I will not make the same mistake again. It was a moral failing on my part that I did that. And frankly, but for the grace of God, go I. If these people who had thrown me out of their Discord actually had, say, millions of followers instead of, a couple thousand or something, if they actually had the ability to do so, if they actually had a presence, I do believe that there would have been an attempt, partially organic and grassroots and partially not, to have me cancelled over those old ICE tweets. And then I had to ask myself, why do I care about being cancelled so much? And after thinking it through, I realized that I just don't anymore. It's as simple as that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of cancel culture. I'm tired of knee-jerk reacting to everything. It's emotionally draining. I'm tired of baselessly accusing people or adding to other people's accusations when there's no solid proof behind them.
Okay, but the only proof of what you said is the fact that you said it, and it's available on Twitter, right? Lego Velociraptor. People aren't canceling you. For one thing, you weren't canceled. You were banned from a Discord. Secondly, it wasn't over some accusation. It was literally over something you had said publicly on Twitter.
It makes me feel immoral. I'm tired of being pressured to care about stuff. Maybe it sounds selfish of me, but I have two people in my life who are very close to me who, on some level, I am at least partially caring for. I'm working as hard as I can, oftentimes more than 12 hours a day, every day, at the YouTube thing, the streaming thing. I know for some of you it's your dream job. It's my dream job too. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but that's not to say that it's not work. Maybe I'm just a weakling, but it is somewhat draining just to get through life sometimes. And I'm tired of being pressured to care about stuff that on some level I just don't care about. And now I'm going to be cancelled and called a bad person, a racist, a Nazi, an alt-right, or whatever, because I'm not caring in
This is him just getting mad he got banned from a Discord.
the right way, because I'm not posting hashtag Black Lives Matter in my tweets. I'm not flying an LGBTQ flag. I'm not changing my avatar to a black square or a COVID awareness banner or whatever the most recent social media nonsense is. I'm tired of being forced to give a shit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being told that my sense of humor is now no longer valid when those same
Oh my goodness, is this the kind of guy who thinks that saying just racial stereotypes is a joke? Because that's not what humor is, it's just being a shitty person.
people engaged in it.
Devious Chillster with 25 bits jokingly tries to get a bunch of people deported. He laughs. He gets banned off Discord. Guys, I have people I care for.
5 or 10 years ago. I'm tired of being told that my view on Islam is hateful and bigoted and xenophobic, when the exact same people said the exact same thing about Christianity back during the Bush and Obama years. I guess it's okay to discriminate against gay people if your skin is brown or something. I still think
What? No.
edgy 4chan Newground style humor is funny, and I'm tired of pretending that I don't. I'm tired of being
Oh
told
my god,
that
he literally just quoted the Joker movie. I do think it's funny, and I'm tired of pretending I don't. Alright, bud. Probably time for your Hot Pockets and your mom to tuck you in.
the mainstream center-left positions that I hold politically now make me a white nationalist and a Nazi. And the on-the-ground
You're not
effect of
center-left.
all of this stuff is cancel culture. For example, when the riots heated up in the United States, JonTron posted this variant of the I just want to...
In your room.
What?
This would be good for when we have the air conditioner in your room.
No, it doesn't fit. I bought it for the same reason, but it doesn't fit. Yeah.
grill meme. The accompanying tweet said, "These last few days, along with everyone else, have made me feel incredibly sad. Through these uncertain times, I hope to bring laughter to your lives through my continued videos. Please stay safe out there. Peace." A completely reasonable reaction, and the internet tried to cancel him over it, because he was not
JonTron already has a history of being really racist. Look at his debate with Destiny to see more about that. But the reason that people shit on him for that tweet in particular is because he's pretending to be a centrist when really what he's doing is trying to not discuss what's going on in terms of police brutality. And it's pretty clear the reason why, based on the fact that, once again, it's the 11th Doctor as a little Lego guy. I forgot I had that one. When really what it's clear that he's doing is trying to just not address the fact that police violence against minority communities in this country are a thing based upon how he views them if you listen to the Destiny interview.
explicitly endorsing one point of view over another, even though that's not his job. He's an entertainer. He's not a political pundit. And here's his response to getting cancelled. What, we're doing the COVID sequel already? Man, they're really just starting to recycle ideas at this point. I'm just going to go watch reruns of Occupy Wall Street. And I get it. It's funny. But this is what he says to people trying to cancel him over being politically neutral, over staying in the center, over not publicly grandstanding, over not virtue signaling. We all think virtue signaling is cringy as fuck. But when...
Okay, no, though. People on the right consider people voicing their opinions on things virtue signaling. That's not a centrist opinion.
you don't do it, they cancel you. This is a much politer version of that one Twitter video of the Joker getting ready to say the N-word, and how much of a ridiculous buildup it was to that. Same energy. And it's the same energy because it is a complete and total disregard for the social norm. The new social norm now is social justice-oriented stuff, but it's a complete and total disregard for it. In fact, back before the social justice warriors held political power, they got a kick out of breaking the old social norm that was religious Christianity. You know, the resurgent religious Christian right that kind of ran things back in the 90s. The proto-leftists back then really reveled in being edgy and, tipping their fedoras and stuff. This is the exact same kind of thing, and it's why they hate John.
Most atheists who were edgy back then, and I'm including me and Jake in that, have become super weird right-wing people like Sargon. Jake and I are the exception.
But this stuff is everywhere, man, and I'm just tired of it.
And Vadim.
Nebraska Democrats renounced their Senate pick over his previous comments. Audio emerges of Jimmy Kimmel allegedly using the N-word back from 1996. Lana Del Rey, Doja Cat, and Jimmy Fallon have all been canceled in the past month. The account Brother...
Yeah, the Jimmy Fallon one, he literally was in blackface for a sketch. Not cool.
Nature has a history of racist tweets. It turns out those tweets happened when the person running the account was 12 years old. Connor Daly, a NASCAR driver, lost a sponsorship because of a racially insensitive remark made not by him, but by his father in the 1980s. And the left participates in it with glee. Sometimes they even call for it to happen themselves. I'm sure this attempt here by Christy Winters didn't really go anywhere because Christy Winters is a nobody, but they know exactly what kind of power they wield. And it's not just grassroots. We also know that this sort of thing is organized and corporate. TV networks have enlisted PIs to scour stars' social media for racism. They get clicks and therefore revenue when someone gets cancelled. So of course they want to push that shit. The left also knows to pick its targets well. Here's Owen Jones, the UK's resident bumbling idiot, on the whole Yorkshire tea thing that was happening a little while ago. You're clearly all having fun, but this hashtag Sue You're Shouting at Tea thing is really disturbing. I realize this will all make Yorkshire tea a lot of money, but picking on a random member of the public being silly on Twitter, who we know nothing about and who sounds vulnerable, oh, so you're...
I don't even know what that's... Let's see what this is about. Sue, you're shouting at tea. Sue, you're shouting at tea. Let's see what this is about. Sue, you're shouting at tea becomes strong contender for quote of 2020. I haven't even heard of this, so I don't know what this is from. This is from February, it looks like. It's day 6 of the Yorkshire tea debate, and a new meme has emerged. Sue, you're shouting at tea. Let us take you back a few steps. On the 21st of February, Tory minister Rishi Sunak posted a picture about his favorite brew, Yorkshire tea, which prompted an extreme and unexpected backlash. A few days later, the tea company urged people to be kind after its staff had to field furious accusations and boycott calls after the photo. In a series of tweets on Monday, the firm stressed to followers it was not asked or involved when the Tory minister posted an image of himself on Friday afternoon. Nearly a week later, some people can't let it drop. The last thing I want to do when I'm making a tea is to think about what the Tory, who is blatantly advertising your tea, paid or otherwise, will be doing to continue to grow the rich-poor cap. While the tea brand attempted to reply calmly, Sue carried on. In the end, Yorkshire Tea tweeted her back, Sue, you're shouting at tea. Please look at yourself and try to be kind to others. We're going to mute you now. The response has nearly 30,000 likes and more than 5,000 retweets to date on Twitter, and the PRs are no doubt rubbing their hands together in glee. In fact, the simple phrase, Sue, you're shouting at tea, has already become a meme. I never heard about this. Must have been a UK Twitter thing.
Against cancel culture, then, Owen. Sounds like it. Sounds like this random person just made a weird tweet and now everyone's descending on them. Sounds bad. Yorkshire Tea have told a far-right vlogger not to buy their tea again, and enraged right-wing extremists are throwing theirs in the bin. You absolutely love to see it. Oh, so cancel culture is only valid if you go after the right targets then, Owen. Is that it? I don't even
Yes, context matters.
know which far-right vlogger you're talking about, but I do not trust your opinion on what the far-right actually is. But more to the point of this video, cancel culture is valid if the target of cancel culture has the wrong politics. From Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan, to Andy Ngo and Laura Loomer, to Sargon and the Ralph retort, cancel culture is...
Oh boy. You're really gonna justify Sargon saying he wouldn't even RAPE someone, really? That's not a fucking joke, man. That's just a fucked up thing to say.
wrong every single time it happens. Cancel culture is the tool of the person who wants to hurt someone else, but
They just posted on the Twitter support account. That's funny.
they have no actual reason to do so. They have no grievance. They haven't actually been harmed in any way. They can't bring something before a court. They have no receipts to show, but they hate you. Maybe they're jealous of you. Maybe they think you're a disgusting member of society and therefore you have to be purged, regardless of the truth on that. Maybe it makes themselves feel better to think that they've done some good in the world and Frankly, they don't feel good all that often, so they're just going to take what they can get. Maybe it just
He's real salty about getting banned from this Discord. Jesus.
gives them that cathartic release that they've been searching for, just to hate on somebody. Whatever it is, it's illegitimate. And worst of all, this is something that the left actually fought against back when I was younger. It was the religious right that would employ a variant of cancel culture. Did you know that you have a gay person working for you? Maybe you should fire them. Maybe the children shouldn't be around them. Do you think it's a...
Okay, do you seriously not understand the difference between being mad that someone is gay and being mad that someone is racist? Those are two very different things. You're focusing on the consequence and not the context of the situation. It's incredibly disingenuous.
appropriate after 9/11 to have a Muslim working in your shop? But nowadays, cancel culture comes from the left, as do those...
It's almost like the thing that is wrong has always been racism and being a bigot. Weird.
people that are now defending it. Critics of cancel culture really just hate democracy. You
Oh, I think this is the remote for the AC.
are technically correct if we're talking about the mob rule style of democracy, but there is no real justice in that.
Also a guitar that I wanted to learn to play.
While our society rightly values protest and free expression, the critics of cancel culture turn this virtue into a vice, contemptuously dismissing those who collectively express their disapproval. This is not what's happening right now. People are free to cancel whoever they like. That is the power of the consumer boycott. In essence, Gamergate itself, back in the day, was cancel culture. And we can see just how badly the progressives reacted to being canceled back then.
Because you were trying to cancel people over the fact that they made a game about depression, and that made you mad. Because a woman made it.
But the consumer boycott is one of the...
Cancel culture, by the way, I don't even think I've addressed this in the episode, doesn't fucking exist. Consequences for your speech have always been a thing. People have always decided, if they don't like the thing that you're saying, that they might not engage with you as a product anymore, because as I've talked about before in this stream, in the 21st century, in the age of social media, if you're making your money online or in the public space, you are a product. I'm a product. This guy's a product. Everyone who is making money doing this is a product, and if people don't like what you have to say, if they think you're a morally objectionable human being, or even if they just don't like you for whatever reason, they're not going to engage with your product. This isn't a new thing, and just calling it cancel culture doesn't all of a sudden make it out of control or whatever.
only things that regular people
Someone sent that to us. I think that's anime something. I don't know what it's from, though.
can do to affect change in the marketplace. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what happens to people who have a neutral opinion, or who refuse to act. The people who choose not to virtue signal. They get cancelled as well. I know I keep resorting to the old well of horseshoe theory in this video, but it is very much like George Bush saying you're either with us or against us. I remember very vividly the left decrying that when it happened. But now that Bush is out of mind, they're doing the exact same thing. One of the artists who works on my channel drew...
Is not agreeing with war crimes literally the same thing as me not being allowed to report people to ICE on Discord or Twitter? Galaxy brain.
a gender-bent variant of PewDiePie. Yikes! It looks like I'm taking a break from your shopping page. Of course you are. Sad, because I like their stuff, but right along with you. How come you're ignoring everyone who has a good reason to be angry? No one has a good reason to be angry. You're all stupid if you do. But liking everyone who supports this awful person. There was no reply, so I believe I asked why you're ignoring people. There is no legitimate reason to hate PewDiePie. He's not a Nazi. He's not an alt-righter. He's not a white supremacist. Your real problem with Pewds is that he's edgier. He still behaves in some ways like it's 2012 internet, just like I do. And because he won't take you and your politics 100% seriously, he's evil. I kept frantically hoping she...
This is a sad, ugly Ben Affleck Batman.
would, like, catch every blatant hint people were throwing that this shit is bad, but she's actively ignoring. I don't want to speak for her. I would assume she just disagrees with you and thinks you are stupid. I'm really sad you're supporting a racist, anti-Semitic, alt-right edgelord. That's not
Picnic blanket.
kawaii at all. Please do some research.
I don't think that's what it is. I think it's a windshield thing.
Picnic
Oh,
blanket.
okay.
Into this guy's history and
I didn't know it had a tag on it.
even current news. Why
I got that in a loot crate.
do you support a neo-Nazi who not only backs the alt-right, but is anti-Semitic, uses racial slurs against black people, and inspired a large massacre against innocent brown Muslims? I thought this was like a joke comment, but it's actually real. Yes, he's a goddamn neo-Nazi. This is the kind of content he's promoted. He followed prominent members of the alt-right on Twitter and then unfollowed them to hide the fact right after the massacre. You can't go around saying racist, derogatory comments and jokes against racial and religious groups and expect anything bad to come of it. This artist of mine sent me a few more funny things. My mutuals, if you're following Shadbase or Sludbox, I'm unfollowing. I adore y'all, but you have no reason to be following these toxic artists. Of course, it had to be fucking Shadbase, dude. This is a study from Cambridge, titled Does Apologizing Work? An Empirical Test of Conventional Wisdom. Let's read the abstract. Public figures often apologize after making controversial statements. There are reasons to believe, however, that apologizing makes public figures appear weak and risk-averse, which may make them less likable and lead members of the public to actually want to punish them.
I think that has to do more with the fact that when we see a lot of these apologies, oftentimes they're half-assed and clearly more about the fact that they're sad that they got caught. Phoenix Vengeance, thank you for continuing your subscription.
When presented with two versions of the controversy surrounding Larry Summers, liberals and females were more likely to say that he should have faced negative consequences for his statement when presented with his apology. The effects on other groups were smaller or neutral. This suggests that when a prominent figure apologizes for a controversial statement, individuals are either unaffected or become more likely to desire that the individual be punished. It's a crazy study. It basically implies that apologizing for your edgy past doesn't actually do anything. And in fact, to the exact demographic of people who are demanding your apology, it lowers their opinion of you. I would like
Because usually people do half-assed apologies that don't actually mean anything, right?
you to combine your knowledge of that study now with this exchange on Twitter. This verified lefty decides to draw a comic about cancel culture, and very clearly he is disdainful of the idea that cancel culture is bad, because he draws a comic about a guy who he gets canceled, and then he ends up kind of spinning his canceling into a career and makes a whole bunch of money. The reply to that is, shouldn't this make you want to not cancel people, given that it's effectively amplifying their voices through channels that take joy from their cancellation?
Pointing out that shitbags will flock towards other shitbags for being shitbags and getting fired for it doesn't mean we don't want to have consequences of the actions for people for being shitbags.
And he simply replies, no. Cancel culture is not about doing good. It is not about righting wrongs. It is not about making the world a better place. It's not about education. It is about that cathartic release that a lefty feels when they've identified somebody that they view to be impure, and when they have, with their righteous indignation, purged them for the good of their community. I can only assume that the Christians of old who killed witches felt the exact same way when they did it. They had the perfect...
Calling J.K. Rowling a TERF is literally the same as lighting a woman on fire for witchcraft. Bold take, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him.
outlet for their impotent hate and rage. They had a way to oppress other people within a framework that makes them the victim, and they had the perfect moral cover to indulge in harming those around them. See? I told you at the beginning this wasn't just going to be a video about a personal event that happened to me. It's really not about that. That was just my springboard into the larger topic. My point with that was to show if those people had a large community and not a small one, which is what they have, you might see an attempt to cancel me right now. And you know what? Here, I'll just make it easy for you. Take this and clip it. Maybe I'll even clip it on my own channel just for convenience's sake. If cancel culture ever comes for me, here in one little package are all the hateful, terrible, racist, bigoted, misogynist, transphobic, xenophobic things that I believe, all in one go, okay?
Oh, this'll be fantastic. What are you laughing at? I have no idea what it is. Hold up. A field guide to sharing your faith. Oh yeah.
Here they are. I believe that gay people, trans people, people of any race, of any ethnicity, of any religion, deserve the same equal rights as anyone else. That also means they have the same responsibility to uphold others' rights as everyone.
No one said they don't. But if you're a fucking Nazi, no one is forced to listen to your bullshit.
Else. Meaning that if you are a fanatic Muslim, no, you cannot simply kill gay people because they have a right to life.
No fucking shit. This is not some stunning and brave thing you're doing.
I believe that trans people should be allowed to do whatever they want. If they want to transition as adults, that's their business. They are legal adults. They can do what they like. However, I believe that children should not be allowed to medically transition with hormones and
literally no one is giving hormones to children in order to give them HRT. What you do is you give children puberty blockers, so until they reach adulthood, they can not have their body go through a puberty that's going to make them into something that they don't want to be. Trust me, as a trans person, I would have loved if that were an option when I were younger. It's a good thing. Jesus Christ. What a fucking straw man argument. No one is giving hormones to children
until they turn 18, or at least the age of majority in your country. We don't let kids make serious decisions until they're adults. I think the same standard should apply with transitioning, and that does not make me transphobic. I believe that a liberal, free society requires a strong border. I believe that illegal immigrants flooding into a country depress...
Again, you're describing it as flooding, as if this is a huge thing. Illegal immigration is at like a 30-year low or something. I don't blame them either. I wouldn't want to come here, Jesus.
This is the value of labor in the market. Because why should a company pay you minimum wage when they can hire an illegal for half that price?
So shouldn't you then try and punish the businesses who are hiring people below minimum wage? Right? It seems to me that the solution to this problem would be making sure that everyone is paid a fair wage, legal or not. That way everyone's on an equal footing.
Therefore, I believe one of the best ways to...
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. People like this always hilariously give up the game. But this person is a verified lefty. Look at going after them for this bad thing as if they are on the same team. We can't say anything bad about them. It's almost like, oh, I don't know, projection of the right onto the left. Yeah.
To help the working class is to end illegal immigration and enforce border laws. However, I don't want
the degradation of the middle class in this country has nothing to do with illegal immigration, and it has a lot to do with capitalism and the fact that automation and outsourcing have basically created a system in which capital can freely move across borders, but labor cannot.
Those border laws enforced on a racial or ethnic basis. I am happy for any race or any ethnicity or even any religion of person to come to the West and live in a Western country, as long as they do so legally and they do so with the intention of upholding our values. And probably most importantly of all, I don't believe that hate speech should be censored. I believe that hate speech is properly countered with more speech, with better speech.
Hold on. Dude Spanking Dudes says, someone took all the books on calligraphy. This taught me a lesson to not run out every book on one subject.
With competent debate. I believe that...
Devious Chilster with 50 bits. Isn't this literally virtue signaling? See, that's the thing. I don't think virtue signaling exists. Like, but would a right-leaning person consider this that? Yeah, probably.
If you censor hate speech, it's because you have no actual argument against it. And that...
Hear that, Americans in World War II? D-Day was just admitting that you couldn't combat Nazism with words. Genius.
Means that either you're shit at debating, which is possible, or that your ideas are even worse than the hate speech that you're listening to. The leftists of my era understood that sunlight was the best disinfectant, meaning that when you engage people with radical ideas rather than isolate them and ban them from places, you end up de-radicalizing them, as long as your own ideas are actually sound. In banning people from discords.
And of course, if anyone's reasonable, it's neo-Nazis. What?
In banning them from social media platforms. In canceling them whenever something even minor happens. You are only serving to radicalize more people, not de-radicalize them. Now, if everything that I've just said to the progressives in 5 or 10 years make me equal to Hitler himself, because things have just gone that crazy in the future, then go ahead, cancel me.
I think people have to know who you are before you can be canceled.
Fucking care anymore. But never, for the rest of my natural life, will I walk back any of the things that I just said. The natural impulse is to do so. You know, when you have 1,000 people telling you that you fucked up, that you're the wrong one, you know, the natural impulse is to say, oh man, with that many people, maybe I did make a big mistake. Like, am I wrong here? I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be acting immoral. Did I actually hurt somebody? Nobody wants to be the person that hurt an innocent. I understand that, but we're past that point now. We are at the point where if you don't have the right politics, if you are neutral to what they consider to be evil, if you even simply stay silent and don't virtue signal, they consider you to be as evil as the original evil that they claim to fight. That is unacceptable.
This guy's bad. I'm gonna have to take a look at him in the future.
Hey guys, no.
Let me just save him, and then we can move on to the next thing.